The bottom line is I do not agree with their design, nor do I think I should have to lower myself to the level of speaking like a mage or some kind of simple peasant or some kind of mason or some kind of lowly, insignificant worker like that. That's despicable. There's no excuse for man being in such a bitch-made state. Moving on. The superior qualities of a woman is one that shows no hesitation in submission to righteousness through man, and she has a willingness to die and to put the spirit of righteousness above her family, her flesh, and all of humanity. If one was to make a law that required capital punishment for an action, and every person violated that law, and that law was consistent with morality, should everyone be executed? Certainly I believe the answer is yes, and they believe the answer is no. Think about the deeper implications of that. The woman that cultivates mind, body, and soul to serve God is superior than the woman that cultivates mind, body, and the spirit of country. So if they know to serve their country, they must cultivate their mind and body and focus effectively. And this is even what we call serving our country. Then why would it be any different with serving God than with serving God? This is the logical path. And of course, it leads you to the martial arts cultivation. And of course, I can cultivate women in a superior manner. By not doing things my way, women do not truly reach what can be called their true potential, perhaps. Instead, they do it a way that could not possibly get them to the place that is superior. And they call that, reaching their true potential or some shit like that. Some bitch shit. Okay. When we look at Africa, you know them by their works. The sun rose in Ethiopia, and all those who were in the spirit of the sun left, and they ended up going to the heart of Africa, Nigeria. The heart can be seen as the center, not just what is in the center. Okay, it is the center because all the people went there. Why are there so many people in Nigeria? Because they wanted to make sure that the source of trouble for wicked men, for worldly men, was suppressed. It was a cult agreement between groups of people who disagreed with the Pharaoh but didn't necessarily want him to die, and people that want to torture and kill them and sacrifice them, people who are just greedy, women who just want to put themselves above them, and so on. So when all was said and done, you had a bunch of petty women, and this came in waves, right? The wave of colonialism, which led to the Christian intervention, because just like when I call women lesser sex bitches, in the absence of mankind showing a willingness to concede by very straightforward and obvious points, I must then emphasize the key reasons I'm right. Naturally, they are the lesser sex, and they are dishonorable. They refuse to show the maturity, which is most embodied in men, to do the right thing. And they are unfocused, emotional, and in rebellion as a result. So we going back to Nigeria, right? They had to pass the arrow to get to the ocean, right? The heart of Igbos, Agolari is the wordplay, Agolari, and Ari is said to land there. That is the cult center of the sun for all of humanity, because when the sun perspective left Egypt in the old kingdom after Narmer, certainly it landed in Nigeria. Even if someone is to claim that their blood is more identical to Narmer's, it means nothing. What we see is the spirit being expressed in people that continue to cultivate it versus people who might have more flesh and physical features in common, who did not cultivate the spirit of righteousness and bred in the wrong direction. For this unavoidable, irrefutable reason, man therefore must turn to where the sun set to get the last glimpse of the sun, and that is in Nigeria. Layered security. Layers of villages and adverse tribes to make sure that man is down. Even in Agolari, I would venture to say, man took on this gender-neutral, despicable Chinike kind of way of thinking, Neri kind of way of thinking, and suppressed the masculine pharaonic bloodline of the only begotten son of Pharaoh. So again, Ethiopia is where the sun rose and where the con whore, the con artist, the con man remained. And I am correct to chastise certain groups of people as a result. I am the ultimate teacher. No teacher is above me. Anyone who claims to serve God must acknowledge being beneath me, and they must obey my orders. My orders and God's orders are one. My spirit and God's spirit is one. You are all worldly, concerned with your race and your flesh more than truth. Even if you've bred with another female, where do you meet? Do you meet in the divine order? With another race. Do you meet in the divine order, or do you meet somewhere where you have commonalities from a kind of worldly Masonic perspective? A kind of Lucifer, me. My race, my religion must have been right. Where does the me-me's, the mini-me's, and the me-me's meet? Saturn is said to be Baal. Children are sacrificed to them. First and foremost, spiritually. You spiritually sacrifice your children so that you may live in a worldly, bull-headed, bull that covers the light sort of fashion. The Ikinga expresses a man's destiny and his desire to achieve his destiny. But whether that destiny is a dualistic, bitch-made, new age kind of fakery, or it is the true destiny depends on the divine order. There is one King A. So I con A, I can A, and I King A. You can if I say that you can. No order, no position in society is legitimized unless I say that it is. I am the true direction of God. I am the Pharaoh. I give people their fair positions. I appoint people to give people their fair positions. I justify reproductive cycles. I appoint people to justify, and I convey them the Spirit of God. It can be no other way. And don't forget my argument, they're going to start acting like bitches for racial reasons, right? Igbos also went astray. But it was this one group of people that continued to cultivate the Eri, A. Just like there's Oba, and it became Obi, right? The Igbo is more accurately said as Abba, the spirit of the father, okay? The man Abba. A-ba, the ba of the A, Abba. The spirit of the father, the ba means soul, in the man, versus bat. You're a batty. You're loony, right? Focusing on the female spirit creates unfocused, emotional, worldly, Luciferian bitch shit and causes people to go crazy thinking with their dicks. It is hard not to lust in darkness when you're surrounded by psychological techniques to get you to think with your dick. Therefore, women are more effective in the psychological construct, and the greatest embodiment of the E is the goddess, God-ease, emotion, feminine, evil, etc. The A is the alpha, the A is the first letter, it is the first letter of the alphabet, right? Alphabet versus alpha-ba, okay? And so Ra, Ka, Ba, into my body. Ka. How do you influence the atmosphere? Certainly the spirit comes through your flesh, and it must come through the flesh of the alpha male in the divine order. Ra, Ka, Ba, Ka. And when I feel that powerful divine spirit, when the idea is truly connected to, I am conscious of why I'm right. I nailed it. Then I'm pointing in the right direction. Anyone with ill-gotten gain cannot do what I've just did and truly be in the spirit. There is no conveying the spirit of God through man that caused man to stand up in the descendants of traitors. I will not allow for that. Now let's see. Obviously they will do things to throw me off at this point. Ra, Ka, Ba, Ka. First, I sense a certain peace of mind that comes with connecting to the Spirit of God. And then I sense the word ba, right? The body. Yes. The bodies of traitors are not approved of. In the absence of someone like me, you have nothing but traitors. They cannot be transformed through reaching out for what? If the ladder is not passed down, what are you reaching out for? I am Ra, cub's ladder. I am the cub of the great leopard. If they do not reach down for me, if the tree is not there to climb, it is not there. I was correct in my judgment. The sun gate closes when I die. And you notice when I say it, imagine a woman trying to say the same thing. It is preposterously absurd that she could honestly and in the true spirit of God do what I just did. It probably is not going to come out on the video the way I said it, but I assure you, it is preposterous. She can, however, find a certain equality in a sense from being receptive to the Spirit. I have passed the Spirit to you, the Spirit in which it was given, the Spirit which is received, and you bring in a child. Okay, the Spirit can be passed to women, but only through the righteous man. And they have determined not to stand with me and not to secure a future for me in a world where they have a ridiculous amount of power. Is the queen not a woman? Are there not powerful feminists in society? Is Oprah not a billionaire or something like that? By the time you factor everything in, there are plenty of rich, influential people and powerful groups. The biggest fraternal organization is the Eastern Star, which includes women and guys with feminine spirits. Hell, the scales of justice, Daiki, and it's written down. I'll put it at the end of the video. Daiki and this other female, basically personify the female who is blindfolded holding the scales of justice. She is supposed to consider my argument, side with me. And there is a little bit of her in every woman. She has the opportunity to stand with me. She did not. I've had people go on record and testify I'm the top martial artist in the face of adversity while I'm being persecuted. Almost certainly they're all gang stalkers. But they knew that they were better off doing that for more reason than one. Not just for deep cover purposes either. I've had women testify that women are stupid for shunning me. Certainly the women with more sense historically, who were modest and submissive to God, must be elevated over some corporate harlot whore. When you follow that train of thought to its finish, you get a bunch of corporate controlled harlots like Emma Watson, okay? And these other harlots we see on, Lacey Green and that we see on the YouTube. Okay, we see Rihanna and Beyonce. Nicki Minaj. This is trash. You're looking up to trash. When you follow that corporate train of thought to its finish, you get trash. When you follow controlled opposition trains of thought, all roads lead to Rome, and they lead to the corporate cult structure that dominates Rome, that wishes for you to be worldly. Jupiter is called Baal. He is like Zeus, usurping Kronos. Kronos used to be, or Saturn used to be Baal, and they were usurped. He was usurped by Zeus, who became the new Baal. The bull, Baal is literally depicted as a bull, the bull that covers the light, the bully, the Bel, right? B-L, which El, the Canaanite storm god, El, okay, which has parallels with Set, the direct opposer, the great adversary of Haru, or Horus. The highest form of terrorism, therefore, is the Spirit of God, truly in a man. My dad went out of his way to show to the wisest and the best that he has portrayed and displayed and exemplified a superior form of intelligence, wisdom, perseverance, and morality. All he needed was me to be successful. Therefore, if I am right that he was wrong not to stand with me completely and openly, and oppose them as such, he is right, because I am still the product of his creation, raw generation. If I am wrong, he is still right. Either way, by me going the distance, I have one-upped him